You got all the proof on the planet. What is taking you such a long time that question clutch your seats? Since we make them let the cat out of the bag, the group of Shanquella Robinson has quite recently dropped a sensation on the leader of the U.S., Joe Biden. They sent a letter to the White House that was as of late uncovered, containing new and disturbing data timed for Washington, D.C. To act so these guardians can start the valuable chance to lament alongside this a lot of records, including a clinical analyst's decision interviews with lodging laborers and policing, have likewise been made public. Robinson's lawyers are begging White House authorities to find those answerable for the 25-year-old's mishap. Yet here's the genuine kicker. What does this new data uncover? And for what reason should the Cabo 6 freak out about it? Well, the letter peruses like this: my clients perceive that the U.S. government has numerous needs and obligations, yet accept that mediating for this situation wouldn't just serve the interests of equity, yet in addition, send an unmistakable message that transnational crimes won't go on without serious consequences. The lawyers who composed that dangerous letter to the White House in regards to Knifeweller Robinson's case are requesting help from the U.S. government, and not one yet two explicit ways the U.S. can follow the removal convention and turn over the individual or people answerable for Shankwell's obligation to Mexican specialists. On the other hand, U.S. bureaucratic policing can demand simultaneous locale with Mexican policing, which would allow U.S. investigators to get the case. The U.S. as the elaborate gatherings are U.S. residents put the issue right at the strides of the White House. The lawyers are approaching President Biden and the State Division to remove everybody on the excursion back to Mexico to have to deal with criminal penalties. Expect Congressperson Menendez, who's over the Unfamiliar Relations Panel vendors, to have a gathering with our legitimate group. Then Clump additionally added this: the remove the executioner or take purview so you can indict the kill, notwithstanding the stunner disclosure about to Janie Jackson, the attendant of the manor where Shanquella Robinson and her gathering see during their outing, has given a direct record of the occurrence. The attendant filled in as the gathering's interpreter and let Mexican specialists know that Jackson was the one accountable for dealing with the excursion courses of action. Yet here's where things get truly fascinating. The attendant seen something unusual on the primary evening of the outing. Robinson was the last individual to join the gathering for supper, and as per the attendant, she didn't appear to find a place with the others. The attendant even said he welcomed her, yet she didn't grin or express anything to him. She was uninterested, nothing to do with the climate of festivity. She was awkward at the party, he told the specialist, as per an English interpretation of investigator archives. As per criminal investigators exploring the case, the attendant of the estate were Shanquella Robinson, and her gathering state has given some unstable new data, evidently to Janet Jackson, connected with the attendant the day after Robinson's puzzling demise on October 29th at 1:50 p.m. Requesting assist Jackson's message with informing read, "I think my companion has liquor harming and needs crisis administration," and somebody to decipher or communicate in Spanish for us. Accordingly, the attendant proposed to send an English-talking specialist to survey Robinson's condition and decide whether she expected to go to the clinic. Jackson concurred and mentioned that the specialist be sent straight away. The attendant of the estate were Shanquella Robinson and her gathering state. Additionally, let police know that to Jenny Jackson messaged him later on, illuminating him that Robinson had been taken to a clinic. As per the attendant, Jackson said that in spite of the fact that Robinson wasn't in basic condition, she wanted an IV. In was everything except sluggish. The gathering was clearly discussing whether their protection would cover the clinic visit. The attendant burned through no time in reaching the on-standby doctor for the estate at around 2 p.m., and the manor's chairman reached out to him to see whether an emergency vehicle was required. Security was told to give a rescue vehicle access, and Robinson began writhing about an hour after the specialist attempted to give her an IV, yet unfortunately Robinson died not long after the specialist got a call advising him to surrender to the manor. Quickly as the attendant entered the property, he found the visitors living it up around the bar and supper table in the principal room. Subsequent to seeing one of the visitors conversing with specialists, he moved toward Jackson to give his sympathies. Jackson informed him that they had proactively informed Robinson's mom about the misfortune, and that it was an unexpected misfortune because of exorbitant drinking she then, at that point, inquired as to whether he could give her an embrace. She gave me an extremely unconcerned embrace. Freezing, I saw an extremely miserable visitor, a thin young lady, and I saw that she was in torment. The attendant told the specialist I left that region and remained external the principal access to give them space to grieve in pain minutes. After the fact, I heard chuckling the attendant, reviewed in the meeting the attendant then, at that point, uncovered how he had organized to ride for the gathering to San Jose after Jackson messaged him about supper a few hours after the fact anyway. He later found that the gathering had rather gone to the air terminal. The following day, when the estate was found void, the attendant reached Jackson and was astounded to hear that the gathering had proactively left for the U.S. Jackson possibly answered the following day on October 31st, inquiring as to whether she expected to sign anything for checkout. It was just some other time when fresh insight about Robinson's demise and the video of Jackson going after her was delivered that he understood that essentially had controlled him with an end goal to leave the country as quickly as time permits. Moreover, during a different meeting with specialists, the estate's chief conceded that he promptly perceived Jackson from the viral video. Since he had recently met her, the top government authorities have now gotten a duplicate of the clinical inspector's report, which expresses that Robinson's demise was vicious and brought about by a wrecked neck. A passing testament later affirmed that Robinson passed on from an extreme spinal line injury and mapbook luxation. Anyway, a police report taken from the manor guarantees that she passed on from heart failure. The clinical analyst report additionally uncovered that Robinson had grading copies to her left side lower leg and head injuries, alongside different wounds, comprised with revival endeavors, for example, CPR and defibrillation. Online clients, in the meantime, have totally detonated on Shanquella's companions, calling the beasts. I asked Shanquella Robinson, realized there was zero disgrace in withdrawing, that it is so owed to be an individual of color who needs to cherish and not battle in reality. As we know it, where tossing hands is celebrated individuals you were with are beasts you were trapped. You did nothing out of sorts. Heavenly Messenger Heart sued another client, inquired as to for what reason is it now 4 months after the fact, and not one individual has been charged of murder in the passing of Shanquella Robinson. Why are captures not made? Is the defer. The Robinson family's lawyer even tweeted, "We hope to meet with the White House to talk about our solicitation for political intercession in hashtag Shanquella Robinson's passing. This is an earth-shattering move toward our excursion toward equity. We should keep Shanquella's story alive, so her family has a chance for responsibility. It should be a tomfoolery excursion in Lake Mexico. Yet it transformed into a bad dream for 25-year-old Robinson from Charlotte. She died on October 29th under dubious conditions while traveling with 6 individuals as per her family. She passed on from liquor harming, yet clinical assessments at records brought up issues about what truly happened. Her grievous story has turned into a web sensation with huge number of Americans requesting equity and captures for her situation. Regardless of the objection, no captures have been made at this point. The recording shows a stripped lady, scarcely verbal, being smacked and hit right upside the head on various occasions by one more lady until she tumbles to the ground. An individual not found in the video was heard saying, "Quella, can you basically retaliate yet?" It's muddled who the individual is. Robinson's less than ideal end. and the upsetting video have left many pondering when clear a fair outcome will be given. However, it was at first hard to affirm, assuming that Robinson was without a doubt the lady being gone after in the recording. Her mom has since gone on record expressing that she perceives her girl in the video. Quick forward to Walk 2023 at lawyers Ben Crump and so on. Robinson have named to Jenny Jackson as the individual needed by Mexican experts regarding Robinson's passing in a letter addressed to President Joe Biden and Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. The legal advisors approached the U.S. government to either remove Jackson to Mexico or arraign her in the U.S. Given the nature and extent of this case, we accept that conciliatory mediation from the U.S. government can assist with working with the fundamental collaboration and coordination between the elaborate gatherings to guarantee that a fair outcome is given. Time that the informer attempted, under the fitting general set of laws, that removal is conceivable, and that global